Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
Yeah. Listen, success is whatever you make it. If you want to be happy, you want to provide for your family.
Live.
You gotta put that work in, man. You gotta go get
Learn.
it. See, listen, this is what I tell them.
Serve.
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go
Inspire.
out and I go get it. How to go,
You're in the
that's all
right
I know.
place.
I don't
You're
succeed
checking
if I
out
don't breathe.
Chip
Success,
Baker,
what does it
the
mean?
Success
If I
Chronicle.
conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. And today we have Courtney Kessenich with us. Involved in lots of great things. She is Miss DC International 2019 ambassador for the World Federation of Mental Health, founder of Hope for Invisible Wounds, and just has one amazing story of overcoming, and then using her overcoming to help others. And so I'm so thankful to have her on this episode of the Success Chronicle. So thank you so much.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right, well, let's dive into it. Talk to us about your life story. I know off air we talked about some things, as far as some things that happened in your path to where you are now. But if you don't mind, talk about your life story and track it till now.
Okay, so the last pageant I was in, the person sitting next to me when they were reading my bio said, "I didn't know you wrote novels." So I'm going to try to give you the Reader's Digest version. My story starts out a little sad. I actually started out my life with some traumas. I lost my mother to cancer when I was 7. And then I tragically lost my father to mental illness and alcoholism when I was in my early 20s, right after I graduated from grad school. And that really shook me to my core. Ultimately, I went from standing on the stage at a USA state pageant and being a strong, independent woman to being unable to take care of myself. I was debilitated. I think the moment that I realized I needed to seek care was when I had a sports injury and I was having a panic attack and crawled under the covers versus going to the emergency room. I couldn't realize that I needed to get help for myself. But I've really come full circle on that. And I have gotten the care that I needed from proper physicians, a really strong support system that I've built for myself, and healthy coping mechanisms. And I found my way back to pageantry, and I'm so happy that I did, because it's given me this amazing platform to be able to launch Hope for Invisible Wounds.
It's good stuff. I think it's awesome when we can take the things that and my first book is Growing Through, plug here. My first book is Growing Through Your Go Through. And I think it's awesome when we can take the things that we go through in our life and learn lessons and grow, allow ourselves to grow through those lessons that we learn, and then get through that and get on the other side and then use what we've gone through to help others. I think that's when it, truly helps you be in alignment with your assignment and helps you feel fulfilled with what you're doing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, what are 3 things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
So I think the first thing was putting myself through college and graduate school, because it basically facilitated everything in my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without having done that.
Yeah.
The second thing is my career. I love what I do. About 5 years ago, I realized that I needed to have an impact in the world to happily get out of bed. And I kind of shifted my career, and I started working in community relations and started helping develop STEM programs in low income schools. And then since then, I worked at the #1 cancer center in the nation. And in the last few years, I've been working for the Department of Defense, doing invisible wounds outreach and sexual assault prevention.
Man, that's awesome. That just hearing all of that just makes me tired. You are doing it.
Oh, and then I didn't finish the question. The #3 is my biggest one, and it's Hope for Invisible Wounds.
Yeah.
I launched it as an outreach campaign because I wanted to provide tips, tools, and resources for people like me, people who were struggling with mental anguish from trauma. And I really just wanted to share resources. I'm a PR, marketing, communications person, so that's what I know. So I wanted to reach as many people around the world as possible with the tools that I was finding helpful to me. And since I've launched it, the Instagram account has reached over 4,000 people. Every single day, I get messages on my DM on there, or just on posts that it made their day, or they really needed it, or people repost. Just seeing that impact. I didn't need that. I wasn't looking for that, but that's the kind of thing. That's the reason. And then the other piece is I've recently launched storytelling on my blog through Hope for Invisible Wounds. And I'm helping others share their story. So not just my story, but other people's stories. And the thing that I was thinking was their stories would help other people. I recently shared a story of a French model who has 120,000 Instagram followers, and she's absolutely stunning. No one would know that she was a sexual assault survivor who suffers from severe PTSD. And she shared her story on my blog. And then I've also shared stories of just people like you and I who go to work every day. And so when I started doing it, I was thinking that those individuals were helping other people like them. But what has actually happened is I'm helping with their healing as well, because they're sending me messages back and saying, this is the first time I've ever shared my story. And one gentleman told me that he shared what he wrote with his therapist, and that she actually cried because it was a breakthrough for him. And I had no concept for that. Like, I didn't know what impact this was ideas, and I was doing things that I thought would help me, like help other people. Like, if this helps me, it might help them. But then all of a sudden, it's just grown so much. It's amazing.
That's good stuff. And we can't get enough positivity in our world, like that. I mean, I think it's amazing stuff. And I think it also, when you see the difference that it makes, it gives us the fuel and the drive to continue to do it and do more.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk success. What is your definition of success?
I think my definition of success is persevering no matter what you have to overcome. For me, it was overcoming trauma and severe anxiety, but for other people, it could be any number of things.
I love that. And what do you think it takes to achieve that type of success?
I think that you have to look past your failures and put them in the past. There are lessons learned, and just keep going. I was having a conversation yesterday at lunch with a pageant sister, and we were just talking about her next pageant, and she started spinning about her last onstage question. And she said that she screwed it up so bad. And it was in November. And I looked at her, and I mean, this is just natural conversation. And I said, have you ever done an onstage question before? And she's fairly new to pageantry. And she said, no. And I said, you got 4th runner up in a national pageant. You were stunning. You had confidence. You took the microphone. You were amazing. Yeah. Maybe you didn't answer it the best that you would have if you had hindsight, but like, why would you beat yourself up about that? Like, your next pageant, you'll nail it. And then don't think about it again. And then the other thing that I have to say is gratitude. I think you have to have gratitude in everything that you do. Every single morning before I get out of bed, before I grab my phone and check my email, is I thank God for everything. I thank God for my husband and my amazing relationship. I thank God for my dog because she's my emotional support animal for my anxiety. Everything in my life I wouldn't have without him, and just being thankful and grateful for everything. And they say that you can't have two emotions at the same time. You can't be anxious and grateful at the same time. So if you start the day with gratitude, then you are going to have a successful day.
Man, I love that. Love the attitude of gratitude. I think when you have the attitude of gratitude, um, your focus is on being thankful. So therefore, you don't see all the other. You don't spend your
Exactly.
focus and energy on seeing all the other negative or whatever. You just stay in a positive mindset. And
Exactly.
I try to. Here's one that I use. I tell people, my blood type is B positive. Okay.
I
You
love
know,
it.
and so, I just try to, hang with that. Just like you said, be thankful. Thankful to the big man for blessing me, for blessing me to be a blessing, and, being able to do what I do, and to learn and do those
Mm-hmm.
things. But then just to have the mentality to just stay positive, you know. Well,
Absolutely.
if you don't mind, can you share with the audience where they can go follow you and check you out and show you some love and support you in what you're doing?
Absolutely. So my personal Instagram is at Courtney Kessenich, Kessenich. And my pageant Instagram is at Mrs. DCINTL. And then if you want to follow Hope for Invisible Wounds, it's at Hope for the number Invisible Wounds. And that's all Instagram. And then all of those accounts are also available on Facebook.
Well, again, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. Awesome stuff that you're doing. I wish you continued success.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to get to know you.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.